Hello, I'm Dr. David DeRose. I've got to be honest with you, it is one of the saddest scenarios that I have seen over the years as a physician. And it's this it's people who experience irreversible complications from diabetes that never needed to. Here's what I'm getting at. What I've seen and what other researchers have found and other clinicians is that we can now often reverse the diabetic process. And what's so shocking is that sometimes you can reverse that process in someone who's gone blind from their diabetes. Their eyesight's not going to come back. Their legs have been amputated. You know how it works. The legs don't grow back just because they get rid of their diabetes. The missing link when it comes to controlling diabetes is something that may be surprising. And the reason we're talking about it is because diabetes is an epidemic today. Are you aware that in the United States, we're talking about some 4,000 people a day being diagnosed with diabetes? That's right, do the math. It's over 1 million people a year who are being diagnosed with that condition. It's usually of what we call the type 2 variety. And the root cause of type 2 diabetes is something called insulin resistance. Insulin not working in your body the way it should. Oh, sure, there's all those diets. Oh, you might say, yeah, my diet was helped. I did such and such, but I didn't stick with it all that long. Or my diabetes improved when I exercised, but I didn't stick with the exercise. Or worse yet, I've seen this so many times, someone with diabetes or at risk for diabetes changes their diet, they change the exercise, and their blood sugars don't get better. In fact, a lot of times I say, sometimes people are making changes just big enough to make them a little bit more miserable, but not enough to see any impact. So, what do I feel is one of the missing links when it comes to controlling diabetes? It actually is something that I call the Methuselah factor, optimizing your blood fluidity. Let me tell you how it works. If you look at the medical research, you'll see there's this connection. If your blood fluidity is worse, your diabetes tends to be worse. Now, there's all kinds of ways we can explain it. I could go through all kinds of studies. I did it in some detail in a book that I wrote called The Methuselah Factor, but let me make it as simple as I can. If you understand that type 2 diabetes at its root is caused by insulin not working the way it should, and insulin works on your tissues, it's not a big leap to say, well, if insulin can't get to your tissues, if your circulation isn't very good, then insulin isn't going to work very good. And whether that simplistic explanation makes sense or not, it helps you to see if you can just improve your blood fluidity, you can improve your blood sugar. So how do you do it? Well, I've gone through video series, I've put them out on the internet, telling people how they can go through a 30-day plan, simple, improve their blood sugar, improve their blood pressure. You could take the time and do that. You get a lot of great information. You could read my book, The Methuselah Factor. But let me do this. Let me give you one thing right now that can improve your blood fluidity and improve your diabetes. And it's simply this. Eat more beans. That's right, eat more beans. Now, I know some people think beans are a bad food, but let me explain something about beans. They're rich in something called leguminous fiber. And that fiber in and of itself helps with diabetes. But there's more, because we're talking about a connection between this missing link of blood fluidity and diabetes. What do beans have to offer in that dimension? Beans are loaded with phytochemicals, plant chemicals, that can help you not only with diabetes, but with a host of other conditions. In the diabetes arena, one of those phytochemicals called the anthocyanins, these plant chemicals, natural compounds, actually help your platelets, your clotting cells, to be less sticky. In other words, by making those platelets flow better, your blood fluidity improves and your diabetic control can improve along with it. Have you ever had beans for breakfast? Try it. Eating beans for breakfast can improve your blood fluidity. Have you ever had beans for lunch? Probably. Eat them more often. Your blood fluidity will improve and likely your blood sugar will improve as well. A couple of more bonuses. If you eat more beans, the fiber in beans, not only does it help to stabilize sugar by itself, but it actually prolongs satiety. So you're more likely to be satisfied with a meal and not be tempted to eat between meals, especially of those things that probably aren't helping your diabetes. One last thing, for those of you who feel you can't eat beans, they just make too much gas, try a few simple things. Cook the beans in a pressure cooker. Even if you don't have a pressure cooker, cook them thoroughly. Cooking those beans thoroughly decreases the gas forming capacity. You want another strategy? Cook the beans, then put them in the freezer and thaw them out. That actually also can decrease the gas forming tendencies. Beans can be used as part of a secret ally in helping you have that missing link to better diabetes control, improving your blood fluidity, improving the Methuselah factor. I'm Dr. David DeRose. Simple keys, simple missing links, connecting you to better health.